Welcome, everyone, to this Listening Part 2 Daily Life Conversation Analysis. Now, before we get started, I want to remind you that Listening Part 2 is more focused on CLB 4 to 6. What does that mean? Well, that means that if you need to get this level, then you need to concentrate on Listening Part 2 more than Listening Part 5 or 6. And actually, levels 4, 5, and 6 should concentrate more on part 1, 2, 3, 4 of the listening part, okay? And that's because these parts will be easier to understand and the questions will be easier to answer for these levels, okay? Now, if you need to get CLB 7 or higher, this part should be easy for you. And actually, most students get everything correct from listening part 2 if you're CLB 7 or higher, okay? Still means that you need to practice this part, but it will be easier for you. And that's why it's recommended that students who need CLB 7 or higher, they should focus on part 4, 5, and 6 more than parts 1, 2, and 3, because those will be easier, okay? Also, we have this really excellent tips and strategies video. You can find that video in the Listening Part 2 playlist. And also, there will be a link in the description box to that video, which will give you some more tips that you can use for listening, tips that you can use towards this part, strategies that you can use to answer the questions more clearly. So it's a very good video. If you'd like to watch that video, you can find it in the description box or in the playlist, okay? So then let's get to today's sample. Digital socializing. Okay, sounds interesting. Now, everyone, I just want to remind you of our main listening tips for listening. Number 1, listen to full sentences. Lower levels, we have a little bit of a problem listening to full sentences. Many times we just listen for words, or we only listen to words. And listening to only words, it will confuse you, especially in the answers. Okay? So let's listen to full sentences. Also, let's repeat the information. Listen and repeat as much as you can. All right? Again, this is more for lower levels. Lower levels, we have to try to listen and repeat as much information as we can because this will help us answer the questions. Especially, we need to repeat the questions. Okay. And of course, we need to listen for main ideas, of course, and main parts of the context. Okay. That's what we need to do. But for lower levels, the most important is listening to as much information as you can and remembering as much information as you can. And for that, we need to repeat as much as we can. Of course, higher levels, you can take notes. And again, this part should be easier for higher levels. Okay. But those tips are also good for higher levels. Okay. So everyone, I want to remind you that we are going to do this listening together. So I'm going to give you a chance to listen for yourself first. And then I will show you the answer so you can choose the answers. And then we will analyze together. Okay? So for now, let's get started with the listening.
Listening to a daily life conversation.
Hi, Fran. Good to see you. How are things?
Hi, Hugo. I'm okay, working hard. How about you?
Oh, I'm good. What's that new gadget?
It's a smartphone. It's a cell phone, and I can get and send email on it too. That's the great thing about new technology. Now I can work anytime, any place.
That's true. On the other hand, the problem with technology is that you can work too much if you aren't careful. Sometimes you just have to turn off the phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Gee, it's pretty noisy in here, huh?
Yeah, there are a lot of kids here with their friends. And look, they're all talking. But they're not talking to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all on their cell phones. It seems kind of weird to me. I mean, these kids meet their friends here, and then they talk to different friends on their cell phones. It's just rude, you know?
I know what you mean, but I guess they're having fun.
Well, maybe. Why do kids have to talk so loud, though? I don't think people should use cell phones in places like cafes anyway.
I'm not sure about that. Don't you think that's why people have cell phones? So they can talk to people wherever they are?
I don't know. Oh, sorry. That's my phone. It's the boss. I better answer it. Hello?
So then, everyone, let's get to the questions. Okay, let's remember you have about 20 seconds between each question.
Question 1. What are the speakers up to? Question 2. What's new in the woman's life? Question 3. What does the man say is a problem with new technology? Question 4. What problem are the speakers observing around them? Question 5. What best describes the speaker's opinions?
So then, everyone, let's get to reviewing the answers, okay? So I have here the script. Let's see question number 1. What are the speakers up to? Up to means what are they doing? Hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? So, very interesting. Let's see. Discussing an interesting subject, providing news about cell phones, writing a report about technology, reviewing new technology. And I did remember them speaking about technology. Hi, Fran. Good to see you. How are things? Hi, Hugo. I'm okay. Working hard. How about you? Oh, I'm good. What's that new gadget? It's a smartphone. It's a cell phone, and I can get and send email on it too. That's the great thing about new email. Now I can work anytime, any place. That's true. On the other hand, the problem with technology is that you can work too much if you aren't careful. Sometimes you just have to turn off the phone. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's not very clear yet, but I don't think it's providing news or writing a report. But I also don't think they're reviewing new technology. I think it's more like they're discussing or talking about technology. Let's put that for now, okay? Let me just increase here. What about question 2? What's new in the woman's life? Okay. A new computer, new cell phone emails, more office work, a new gadget. Well, I think it's clear that it's a new gadget, new technology, a new smartphone. Okay. And what about number 3? What does the man say is a problem with new technology? You can use it more, you can overwork, it can work for you, it can become difficult. I think we read that the problem, he said, right over here. That's true. On the other hand, the problem with new technology is that you can work too much if you aren't careful. Okay? So that means not it can work for you, no, or it can be difficult, no. So you can use it more or you can overwork it. We're talking about overwork because that's what they say, overwork, work too much. You can work too much. So work too much is overwork, not just use it more, okay? And what about number 4? What problem are the speakers observing around them? People using cell phones too much, people being less social, friends talking on their phones, cell phones ringing too much. Let's read. Gee, it's pretty noisy in here, huh? Yeah, there are a lot of kids here with their friends. And look, they're all talking, but they're not talking to each other. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're all on their cell phones. It seems kind of weird to me. I mean, these kids meet their friends here and they talk to different friends on their cell phones. It's just rude, Right. So, friends talking on their phones. They weren't talking, they were using their phones. Cell phones ringing too much. No. People using cell phones too much or people being less social? Seems like people using cell phones too much. They are using cell phones too much, that's true. But the problem is they are being less social, not just using their cell phones. They said they're here, but they're not talking to each other. And the question was the problem. What is the problem? It's not just using cell phones, it's that they're not talking to each other. Very good. What best describes the speaker's opinions? They can see eye to eye. They are in disagreement. They can see each other's views. They want to agree more. And it should be, well, it's not they disagree. They want, also not they want to agree more. So see eye to eye or see each other's opinions? Let's see. I know what you mean, but I guess they're having fun. Well, maybe. Why do kids have to talk so loud, though? I don't think kids should use cell phones in places like cafes. I'm not sure about that. Don't you think that's why people have cell phones? So they can talk to people wherever they are. I don't know. Oh, sorry, that's my phone. It's the boss. I better answer it. Okay, so it sounds to me like they're not agreeing completely. So the answer should be they can see each other's views, but not completely. Now, not see eye to eye, because see eye to eye means agree completely. Okay. So they can see each other's views, but not completely, is what that means. All right. Looks like we got everything over here. Okay. Very good, everyone. Let's remember, everyone, practice tips. First thing, it's very important to review the answers. Why is the answer and the other answer not the answer? Very good, just like we did in our practice, okay? And for that, everyone, I will be leaving a link in the description box so you can redo practice test 1, or also you can do test practice 2, which is the same listening. You can listen to it again, and then you'll have some new questions, okay? New questions and answers for you to review. So that's a really great practice for you, okay? And then also, don't forget about vocabulary practice. This is very important for improving your vocabulary knowledge. These are some of the words we listen to in that listening, which are very important. A degree, a university diploma, right? A deadline, time when you need to finish something. Very good words. And then you have to complete the exercise, the sentences, by writing a word from the list. Great exercise, everyone. Great exercise. And the comprehension building. Okay, listen to the sentence.
I'm Ken Leong, personnel manager for the company.
Then you have to choose which one means the same as what you hear. Very good exercise to build your comprehension. And following dialogue. We listen, we follow the dialogue, and we put in a word that we hear while we listen. Excellent exercise to practice. Okay, everyone? All right. Also, everyone, let's not forget about CELPIP Library, okay? CELPIP Library has over 50 examples of listening part 2. Current CELPIP exams, past CELPIP exams, and past CELPIP material, which will all help you in improving your listening skills in general, specifically for listening part 2. So I strongly recommend that you subscribe to CELPIP Library. And now, with CELPIP code, CELPIP 79, again, that's discount code, CELPIP 79, you can get a 3-month subscription for only $10.99. So everyone, I strongly recommend that you subscribe to CELPIP Library. And don't forget, practice makes perfect.